moisture in soil. That means it indicates that there is water content in the soil. As you go and dig deeper, you see a layer of you get water between the layers of soils and rocks. As you dig deeper, you will get water between a layer of soil and rocks. So the upper limit of that water is known as water table. So this water drawn from the ground so if we are drawing the water from the ground by bore wells or tube wells, how does that get recharged or replenished? With the help of rainwater. When rain occurs, again the water seeps, goes down and gets replenished. So groundwater which we are drawing, it gets replenished when the rainwater seeps down. And then water table doesn't get affected until it gets replenished by the natural processes like rain. So the water table doesn't get affected until whatever the water is being drawn outside for construction purpose, for human beings purpose, it gets replenished by the rainwater. When the rainwater comes, it penetrates down, seeps down, and thereby the water table balance will be maintained. But sometimes the water table goes down when not replenished. That means if there is no rains, there will be no replenishment of the water table, no rainwater will go down. Thereby the amount of groundwater will get decreased. So what are the reasons for this water table to go down? They are in the increased population. How does increased population affect the water table? As the population is increasing, there are demands for many things are increased. Like many shops are being constructed, many roads are being constructed, many houses are being constructed, pavements, footpaths are being constructed. Thereby, all the open land is being used for construction purpose. Thereby, the normal land will get decreased. Suppose if we are constructing a house, the flooring will be pakka flooring. That means it will be tiles or cement flooring. Suppose if we are getting rain, the rainwater doesn't go down or seep down through our flooring. Whereas if there are no houses, it will be a dry land or a green grass will be there. So if rains come, the water will seep down through the grass. So that is the difference. So if the population is increasing, lot of construction demand is there, shops, roads, pavements are coming. So thereby the rainwater which is coming is not seeping into the ground. Thereby this water table is getting decreased, goes down. So again in the construction sites, lots of water is being drawn from the ground for the construction purpose. But we are not giving the groundwater back. We are only drawing the water, but we are not replenishing it back. So the amount of water being drawn is more. The amount of water being drawn from the ground is more, whereas the amount of water what we are giving back to the ground is very less. So that is how increasing population is affecting. As the population growth is increasing, there is demand for the construction of houses, roads, pavements, parks and everything. So if the houses are being constructed, the floorings of the house do not absorb the rainwater. Whereas if there are no houses, there will be lot of playground area, open parks and all this. So in that open parks and playground areas, grass will be there. If there is rain, again the grass will absorb the groundwater. Whereas as the population is increasing, the houses, the shops, all those do not absorb water. So that is one reason how the water table is going down. Then moving on to the industrial activity. How is water table going down with the help of industrial activity? Almost all the industries need water in some process, production process, and in some level, definitely all the industries require water. Then what happens? These water, how do they get? They definitely dig up bore wells. Then when they are digging up bore wells, they are taking all the groundwater. And lots of industries are being constructed and water is being used for production processes. But they are not giving back any groundwater. They are not allowing any seepage of the groundwater. So as the industrial activity is increasing, more and more ground wells, more and more tube wells are being dug up. Thereby the groundwater is getting consumed. And because of this, no rainwater is being seeped down. That is how industrial activity is affecting. Then moving on to the agricultural activity. So agriculture always needs water. Irrigation it is needed. So how is the source of irrigation for the farmers? Maybe canals or ponds. Sometimes even in summer seasons the canals dry up. At that stage what happens? There will not be any natural supply of water. That time what happens? The farmer will again dig a bore well for the purpose of water. Again he will be taking all the groundwater. Then again he is not giving the water back to the ground. He is only digging up a bore well and taking the groundwater. So for the agricultural purposes also, when the ponds or lakes are far away or else if the ponds or lakes are getting dried up with the help of summer season, no rainfall, then he will dig a bore well, he will take all the groundwater, but he is not providing any water to the ground back. So that is how industrial activity is getting affected. Then there is scanty rainfall. Suppose if there is no rainfall, then the groundwater will not be recharged. Then deforestation. As we are cutting down the forests, then the land is getting dry. Suppose if there are trees, There will be exchange of water between the plants and the soil. The water will be moisture rich. There will be exchange of water. Water content will be there. Suppose if there is deforestation, they are cutting away all the forests. Thereby, the water table will go down. When there are no trees, there will be no water exchange continuously between the soil and the ground. Thereby, the water table will go down. That is how there is depletion of the water table. Then how is the water distributed on the earth? How is the distribution of water? So uneven, there is an uneven distribution of water in the globe. Not every place has similar water. There in suppose desert areas, mostly camels move in desert areas. There will be lot of sand, so there will be scanty rainfall, very less rainfall in the desert areas. Whereas in India, there are many types, different types of areas. There are some areas where there will be excessive rainfall that will cause floods. Whereas in India only, then some areas will have very little rainfall that will cause drought. That means no rainfall, crops cannot grow properly. So that is what the distribution of water on our globe, on our earth is completely uneven. Now we will see how we can manage this water. So water management, moving on to water management, how can we manage the water from being wasted and how can we properly utilize the water. So the water which we get, municipal water, it is usually provided by pipeline systems, right? Sometimes we see the leakage of the pipes at many places. The pipes burst, the pipes break and leak, sometimes due to rust or maybe due to some other causes. So at that times what has to be done, at that times the government authorities should prevent the wastage of the water and do the repair of those leakage pipes by calling a plumber. Then and as an individual, as a student, as an individual, what you can do in the management of water. How do you firstly mismanage the water? At the time of brushing, you keep the tap open continuously. Even when you are scrubbing your teeth, you keep the tap continuously running open. Same way as the shaving. When your parents do, when your father or any of your relatives does shaving, even when they are brushing with their shaving brush, you keep the tap continuously open. Then in the bathing also, if you do shower, you are wasting lots of water. If you use a bucket of water, then you use little water. And even in the washing, if you use washing machines or even if you are washing by hand, if you keep the tap continuously open, then you are wasting the water. Then if the taps are leaking, then lots of amount of water will be wasted. So that is how you mismanage the water at an individual level. Then how the rainfall water can be managed. So the rainfall water is main source for recharging the groundwater, right? So the rainfall water can be managed by the process of rainwater harvesting or water harvesting. Simply you have to dig a big deep pit near to your houses. So that way, whatever the rainfall water will come, it will get collected in that pit and gradually seep or move down and will be stored as the groundwater. And the next is something in the old age India that was practiced as Bawris. Bawris were nothing but reservoirs in which the rainwater used to be stored. But later, after some stages, they observed that instead of the rainwater, lot of garbage was piling up in these Bawris. So nowadays, these Bawris are not practiced. So only the rainwater harvesting pits are practiced. So how farmers can manage the proper use of water? So suppose if farmers are irrigating the field with the pipe, lots of water will be wasted. So there is something called drip irrigation. With the help of drip irrigation, less amount of water will be used. How? Drip is nothing but, suppose if you get sick, sometimes you lose energy. The doctor, if you get admitted in the hospital, they give you saline, right? How saline is passed through your body? Through a small pipe, and the saline falls drop by drop from the bottle. Same way, this mechanism only is followed in the drip irrigation. So the water from a tube well will be connected to a narrow small pipes, and these pipes open up at every root part of the plant. So through those pipes, the water will be fallen drop by drop in the root part of the plants in the whole agricultural field. So that is how drip irrigation can be followed by the farmers. Through the narrow tubes, the water will be passed, the tubes open at the root part of the plant. So this is how management by farmers. Then what role you can play as an individual in management of water? You have to repair the leaking taps at your places. You have to turn off the tap while brushing. Open it only when required. Mop the floor instead of washing. Sometimes you wash the floor. That time you require lots of buckets of water. Instead, take a cloth, mop the floor. Use a bucket of water instead of a shower. Then use water economically whenever needed. Then wash utensils in 2 buckets of water. Rather than washing utensils in a continuous flow of tap water, wash them in a bucket of water. So this is how you can, this is how as an individual you can play a role in management of water up to some extent. So how does water scarcity affect the plants? So if there is no water, the green character of the plants will be lost. How will the plants get the characteristic green color? It's the pigment called chlorophyll that gives the plant the characteristic green color. And if there is no water, there will be no photosynthetic activity. Then there will be no food for the plant, no oxygen, no gaseous exchange. There will be sometimes the plant's life will end. Then from the water the plants absorb some nutrients. Suppose if there is no water, then they do not absorb nutrients, and ultimately plants dry up. So water is very much essential for the plants, for the human beings, for the animals also. So water is necessary for all the living beings. No life without water. So use water economically. Educate the people around you to use the water economically. Take up some measures of how you can save water for the future. Don't behave as if we don't need water for the future. Use the water very economically in a proper way and try to save the water as much as you can. So this ends this chapter.